become anyone I wanted to be. I can be princesses, I can be witches, I can be fairies, all these magical, lovely things. And I would force my parents to become the monsters and the villains. And of course, they didn't always cooperate. So I would exercise my right as a child, crying. My mother used to say that, Molly, when you cry on the 3rd floor, people on the 1st floor could hear you and distinguish that it's Molly without no trouble. And they'd be like, oh, it's Molly crying, my parents got to do something. That's how I make them cooperate with me. But as I grow a little bit older, I started to feel shy. I no longer take people along with my imaginative journey. Instead, when I'm alone at home, I would take a bedsheet, put it on my back, stand in front of an electric fan, pretending I'm heroin or something. I would save the world. Of course, I got all of these crazy, everywhere, ideas from watching maybe too much TV shows. It was then I started to admire these actors. Admire these actors who get to dress in fancy dresses. That dress, I still want to dress in that. Actors who can be royalties in the play, who get to live in a totally different life that I may never have a chance to live in the theater, and they will go out of theater and give us signatures and be loved. And I want to be known about around people, preferably with good reputation, but still be known around people. And to be perfectly honest, my interest in theater, my first step in starting to have this thought about why I want to be in this theater industry is that I want a spotlight. I want the attention. I want people to love me and adore me and really be something. And as the 7-year-old me would explain, well, I don't see why I can't be actors that can be on posters. And I detest ensemble members for they have no fame. Acting old ugly servants and dead bodies who don't even talk is not fun. And I will always be the lead, always. That's what I would possibly explain when I was that years old. So yeah, with that overly high self-evaluation, I went to a school in Beijing and joined the theater club. That year we were producing Beauty and the Beast. But due to lack of participants, instead of opening up an audition, they simply called us in a room and said, we're going to call character names, you are going to raise a hand if you want that role, and you'll get it. And when they said the name Belle, no one raised their hand. Imagine a whole room of quiet, stereotypical, humble Chinese students. Oh my God, this Belle, someone but elect me, I kind of like raise my hand myself. Right? And I was sitting in the corner, I'm like, I want it, so it's mine. Like that. Yeah, so I got the role Belle. But soon, rumors arose on campus. My peers judged me as unfit for the role of Beauty. I was super upset. It's a school bullying at the transfer house. Later, as I thought that, there was really nothing I can argue back. All I did for that role was just to raise my hand. I didn't work for that role. I didn't earn that place. So it came to me as a life lesson that if I want something, I'll prove worthy of it. Like, if you buy this chair, maybe it's like $5 and then you'll pay for it. If I want that role, I'll prove worthy of that role. With that thought, as I said, I transferred to another school, this time in America. It's a school called St. Mary's in Minnesota. And this school requires us to take at least one art class. Of course, I chose theater. And it's theater 1. Oh God, that's a mistake. Theater 1, the most basic class in that theater system. So one day in 8th grade, I stepped into my first class in this theater industry. I still remember my first acting assignment, to find a dialogue between two people and act it out. Most of my peers chose dialogues like, oh, two best friends met on the street, talked, and left, or love stories, I love you, you love me, blah, blah, blah. I chose a dialogue between Sherlock Holmes and James Moriarty from The Abominable Brand. And I was Moriarty. So, try to imagine an 8th grade girl about this high, because I stopped growing very long time ago, trying to act out Moriarty's craziness on stage. Trying so hard, I was running wild and free. And here's a line I still remember. I'm going to try to make this scene reappear again. Did you know that dust is largely composed of human skin? Doesn't taste the same though. You want your skin fresh, just a little crispy. So that was that. And I kind of realized why my partner was a little bit freaked out when we were on that. Yes. So that was that. And my first acting teacher, Mr. Peppergeorge, did acknowledge that, oh, your scene was a bit more special than everyone else's. But he also says that I do like your courage for taking on this role without any gender restraint, social expectation, just taking on it. And you love theater. I can see your passion in acting, though it was kind of wild, but yes, keep going. He said that next year, I received an invitation from him to join Players, the highest ranking class in the theater system there. So here's how the system goes. So the basic class is Theater 1, Theater 2, Theater 3, Players. I skipped 2 levels. I was like, yes! I am going to make it out there. I am going to be a good actress because I skipped 2 levels. Yeah. I skipped 2 levels. That's all I was thinking about. Then the admission team poured cold water on me, saying that, oh, you have player class during mandatory history class, so you can't take it. Alright, fine. But I still participated in as many productions as possible. But then I realized that just performing but not learning is not going to do any good to me. In order to portray a role accurately and authentically, to deliver the playwright's message as how he or she wants to, I must receive the education first, instead of just giving out, performing, staying in the same spot and not moving. So I decided to transfer to an art school. I chose musical program, as some of you might have read about it in the press, that I didn't know what musical theater was before I came into this program. I was like, I was an opera singer, I need to keep my vocal training, so I'm going to musical theater without knowing I have to dance as well. Until I came to this place. So yes, I went to Idyllwild. And here is how this story is going to go dark. Where's my notes? Sorry. So I went to Idyllwild. And as a sophomore musical theater students who don't really know what musical theater is, to be perfectly honest, I couldn't be really seen as a real musical actress. And I will explain that later. But now I want to show you a picture. Lovely. A girl on blue flying to some fancy land. But as I was like putting up this whole PowerPoint, I just saw this picture randomly and I thought, that was me. I was a little girl. That balloon over there is my ego. As a balloon rises, to the highest point it will blow up, scientifically, if you're not in the Alice in Wonderland thing, it will blow up. At the highest point, I would fall. My ego was the biggest in my sophomore year. And I fall hard. Now it's time to explain why I think that I couldn't be seen as a musical actress at that point. Because this is such a competitive environment. All my peers around me can succeed my abilities in so many fields, in so many ways, onto so many levels. And I made a fun picture about them. Not exactly any one of us, but I just put on so many things. I'm more American, which means they don't speak English with accent. I can speak English in German, French, blah, blah, blah accents, because they can speak English in these accents. They can speak more than 2 languages, some of them can. And they're even more mature theater artists than me, even before they come to the school. They had productions before, they had touring shows, they were in companies. Like, Narushi was like Lion King before he came here. I was like, oh my god, they are so good. But I was still very ignorant at that time, so I didn't mind about this until I analyzed it later. So yeah, that was about that. And I saw directors fighting over actors. When it comes to creative writing labs and you see all these student directors fighting over boys, I mean like, I want him, no, that he's mine. Or super talented girls, and I was just standing there. And I saw that, I was like, no one fought over me. Crying face. And in the entire sophomore year, I wasn't cast in any main stage production as an on-stage actor. I was a pit singer on the wing for a chorus line. But what hurted me the most is that every night after the performance, I went out from the theater and then go back to my room. On my way, people would be like, oh, Molly, you went to see the theater production too? I was like, yeah. I saw it in the wings and I sang it with the cast. So they just kind of sort of forgot about these ensemble members, and without acknowledging us that we have contributed to the show as well. So I told myself, as I said before, I am going to prove myself worthy if I want to get something. I am going to work. I am going to be very hard working to get it. So here's something I did. I practice tongue twisters. I do abdominal exercises. I dance, I balance, I stretch, I build muscles. And I listen to all these kind of addition tips like how to dress, how to improv, how to have a chit chat with the proctor, just try to be a nice person all around, most importantly, you're auditioning all the time. I hate it almost like I really don't listen. And then I tell myself, yes, I committed. I made my effort. And in my first production of junior year, I am going to make it out there, make my names known on the cast list. On the cast list. But on my first show of my junior year, I was still an ensemble member. I was destroyed. Didn't tell nobody about it. I was like, okay, maybe I'm not fit for an actor. The same feeling I had 5 years ago in Beijing when my peers told me that you're not a good actress, you can never be a good actress, came back to me, but this time slightly different. For this time, no one told me that because my peers are loving. And I told myself that, hey, maybe it's not the right path. So yeah, I stopped committing. Actually, to put in better phrasing, I didn't work at all. I'm sorry, Bonnie, you were the director of that show. I'm so sorry. So yeah, but I'm going to be honest here. In that production process, understudies are usually required to attend most of the rehearsals, and we're supposed to pay attention to what's going on stage, memorize lines, take notes, ask questions, blah, blah, blah. And I just brought in my homework and was like working on it. And when the director or the assistant director comes to me and say that, hey, you need to focus, you need to pay attention to what's on stage, I'm like, okay, I put on my work. I sit there and watch what's going on stage, staring at it with a blank eye, daydreaming about a day in amusement park or birthday party with my cousin. That was what I was thinking, and waiting for the directors or the assistant directors to be distracted so I can get back to my work. Then there's one girl, there's one special girl who is usually cast in everything, and she was in the understudy group too. My reaction to it was mixed, like, this is not possible. I'm either daydreaming or that girl is really in the understudy group, but it happened. So I started to wonder what could possibly happen. But she was like this person who never complains. She took notes, she asked good questions, she paid attention about what's going on stage, and she memorized all the lines. I had a few theories. Either what the teachers told us were true. In addition, it doesn't like we only look at your acting. And we also look at if you look like the characters or something like that. Maybe she doesn't look like any character in that play. Or she has always been cast She needs the experience to be an understudy. And here's an education experience. But eventually I came to one final conclusion. She was an understudy at that spot at that time. She still worked hard. So I asked myself as I misplayed it, am I happy in that act? Do I still love theater? I thought about it for a night, I'm like, yeah, I think so. I think I'm getting addicted, really, but though I was like really jealous, but still, I still love theater. Then why wouldn't I strive to shine wherever I am in theater? Thanks to that girl, she brought me back on track. Really. She was like a turning point. Or I would have just like dropped out and be like, bye theater, and just be like gone. And she rendered me something even more valuable. A more open heart. A more open heart to more roles, a more open heart to more connections, a more open heart to more adventures. Speaking of adventures, I would like to take on you all to an adventure with me today. I have a monologue that I really like, but never got a chance to perform it in any auditions or portfolios. And I really want to perform it to you all, and I hope you guys like it. It's Marity's monologue from A Perfect Wedding by Charles L. You can scream if you feel awkward. There. So go this time. You're going to leave me eventually. I've always known it. So leave me now. I have pursued you and pursued you and pursued you in every way for all these years. And you have rejected me and rejected me and rejected me. I have to rip you out of my heart. But it just tears me apart like a wreck. You say I say these things to manipulate you, but how can I manipulate you? When you stick a knife into an animal, it will kick and jerk and cry out before it dies. It can't help itself. I miss being with you. Just hearing you breathe, holding you through the night out there. I couldn't help myself either, pretending I didn't care. Turning over myself in bed, turning my back to you, hoping you would see my behavior as a mirror of your own. So that you should turn back to me. Not giving you everything I want, everything you want, everything you... Because you sweet so. You had deserved every single thing in life you wished. And I so regret not finding a way to find you instead of withdrawing from you, and so making you feel, I suppose, not loved, not pursued, not treasured, not as precious as I felt you were, not giving you everything I felt for you. So I keep trying over and over to let you go, and even as I say that, it takes my breath away to think that I let go of the only person in my life I have ever loved so completely. You have to be my life itself to me. That's what I find so hard to let go of, and why when I come close to letting go, it feels like the only death I will die. Is this the way I want to feel the rest of my life? Or will it go away on its own? Thank you. Yes, so it was since then, instead of detesting ensemble members, I started to love it. I really see from Bonnie's words that wherever you are in the theater, you're contributing to it. Every single one of us involved in the production are equally important. Without me, you can't make shows, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. But yes, ensembles matter so much. Working behind the scene are very, very important. And it was then I started to make connections. I want to make connections in theater between here and my own culture. So I have been studying stage and opera. And these are just random making opera pictures, none for me. Just to give you a sense of it. Yes, because spending like almost 6 years in the US sometimes makes me feel more disconnected with my own culture. And here I found another art form I really like, which I can build connection with my root, my identity, who I am, and who I would like to be. It was a wonderful experience. And also I realized that if I don't get cast, I can cast myself. So I applied for an AEL project, and I was successfully funded by the school to produce my own show. I wrote this play called Happy World, and this whole play is about a dystopia where people cannot show any negative emotions. You can't be embarrassed when you're embarrassed, you can't be angry when you're angry, you can't cry when you feel like crying. Just put a big smile on your face and everything will be fine. And I wrote it in response to the situation we have in this society. Sometimes we have to pretend we're okay, sometimes we have to pretend that we're enjoying it. But no, we're not. We need a moment to cry, we need a moment to express ourselves, and sometimes we don't get it. I thought that's quite ironic. In a country full of freedom, why can't I do that? Oh, no, you can't do that. Because if you do that, your friends don't like you, your boss will think you're a weirdo, and you'll be fired or something. You can't do that. I thought that's really weird. So I wrote a play. This whole production process was both fun and challenging. When I say challenging, I have this down face because it's really challenging. I certainly met obstacles, but thank God, faculties like Bonnie helped me to go through all this so I didn't like break down in the middle of it. And I learned a lot of things as well, such as how to be a director and make sure that your peers at your cast do the things you want them to without really distancing you out, losing the friendship, all that bad stuff. And also how to make my cast feel more ownership about this whole project. I allow them to have more open dialogues with me, say, oh, you don't like this plot? Let's talk about this. How would you perceive this character instead of how would I perceive this character? How would you make this play more full? What would you do to make it more authentic? How would it would fit that character? I asked all these questions, and they made some progress. So, honestly speaking, this show came from all of us. The final product is what our thinking made. And on the night of the performance, I was very glad, satisfied, content, just like seeing my own baby grow into something beautiful. I sent the video footage to my parents, and they liked it. And they just really praised my leadership and courage in this project. And it's really nice to hear something from them, because they never had ever seen my show before. Never really came here. God, come here, boss. So that was that. They don't know what's happening here. They're like, oh, mommy, what are you doing at this point? Okay. So that was that. Theater used to be a place where I hide off from realities, live imaginations, daydreaming about things, and despite anything that's outside the leading role. But now, I see it as a tool for me to tell my own story. I have so many things to say about this world. I want to express my views on social norms, on LGBTQ+ rights, on gender equity, and so on, so on, and so on. And theater is a convenient yet lovely art form for me to do that. And as I grew up, I just gradually realized that I would like to go for more about working behind the scene. Maybe I'll consider about directing or playwriting in my colleges. I take on all these majors and minor courses. And it opens up my view about how I want to place myself in this world, in this theater industry. in both myself and all of you lovely people who are involved in theater, in bringing better changes to this world, making it a better place. That's it. Thank you. Questions? If not, we can start eating, but yes.
Your accent is unique.
Yes.
Right, I have a straight accent. So here, okay, I'm going to explain it. In Chinese primary schools, we started learning English when we were like in our 3rd grade, I'm like 9-year-old. And the videotape they have for English is British accent. It's all made British accent, and I sucked at English at that point. I couldn't recognize all my alphabet. I don't even know I means I. like I. I was like, oh my god, what should I do? Then a friend of my mother gave her this excellent yet still very horrible idea to play the video of the British accent on a video recorder or something on the computer all day round. Just play it. No matter what you're doing, you're going to the bathroom, you're cooking, you're reading books, you're dancing around, you're playing pianos, whatever. Just play that. And eventually, I memorized the whole book because she's doing it. It was horrible. I was like dreaming about these same words, and my accent is slightly turning into a little bit British. And it's still very hard to change it back. So that was a little fun story about it. But still, I learned English very fast because of that method. So that was that.
It's pleasant. It's pleasant.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes?
You talked about it at the end of the presentation, but I want to ask you about your future. Where do you see yourself 5 years later? Like, what do you think you are doing? Or maybe are you going back to China, or are you going to stay in the US?
I think for my plan for now, I'm going to stay in the US and either finishing up my undergraduate program or starting my graduate program. I'm thinking about sociology and theater in 2 directions, because when I started to have this idea that I want to use theater to tell my own story about how I view this world, how I see it differently from others, what I see as issues, what I see as something I can help with, I started to think that I need more knowledge on sociology, on more humanity courses to help me to understand the structure right now. What can we do about it? It will help me to get more understanding into writing more things like that. So that's my direction so far, and that's how I project myself in 5 years. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Anything else, or we can start to eat? Oh yes.
Well, I think your English accent is actually very good.
Thank you.
And I think you becoming a director is an interesting part, because I think you have that kind of power behind you and you know what you want.
Yeah, sometimes you intimidate people, but no. Try to.
Don't worry about that part.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes?
You may not have a handle on this, I don't have a handle on it, but the Beijing Theater, would they even allow Western stories into that world, or would that be foregone?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
The Beijing Theater that you said.
Oh, the Beijing Opera?
Yeah, would they ever allow a Western story in that shell?
Well, I would say Beijing Opera has been divided into mainly 2 parts at this point. The first part was originated from 200 years ago when it was created in Qing Dynasty. And all these things are traditional Chinese stories. And then it comes to communist ruling party. It started to be like more political, talking about more like the war with Japan and all that. And I wouldn't say that the Western stories has like direct connection with Beijing Opera, but I would say that in order to fit many Western audiences' flavor, we have been doing minor changes on either the tune, the length of the note, how to pronounce certain things. And some people even invented Beijing Opera in English. And my mentor just told me that that's just strange, don't do that. Like you're going to hear things like, like that's just weird. That's just weird. But we've been doing modifications like, oh, maybe shortening this note here and make it go a little bit fast speed because that fits more like the modern people's view. So that's what we're doing now. And Beijing Opera is still on the revolution. Still on the revolution, I'd say. It's more to see in the future. Yeah. Anything else? You saw my hunger in my eye. That's it.